Hey everyone, and welcome back to another urban sketching video. This time we've decided to go to an old industrial area located in Duisburg with many abandoned factories. That area was transformed into a large park where you can learn much about the old iron and steel industry. After exploring a bit of the surrounding area, we went up on the blast furnace. Since it is 70 meters high, which is about 230 feet, I was sure to find something to draw as we climbed our way up. We could see all the surrounding factories, pipes, even the traffic in the distance. I spotted a place that turned directly to the other furnaces and I decided to draw the entire scene from afar. You might recognize my sketchbook from my last video. My goal is to fill it this year completely in, although I have to admit that the last time has been in the Chinese garden, meaning that I didn't sketch anything else in the meantime. But there are still many opportunities to come. When I started drawing, it felt very overwhelming because I'm always starting with just a few lines to get my composition right, and whenever I look at such detailed motifs, I don't know where to start best. I think the best way to approach these kind of sceneries is to divide the details into bigger parts. For example, the main shapes of the factory parts, which I didn't see as stairs or pipes, but more like rectangles and lines that connect at the end. I'm working my way from bigger shapes into more detailed ones and filling the page that way. I know that at this stage it doesn't look too promising, but sometimes I have to trust the process. I feel like the moment I start to put shadows in with a brush pen, it starts to look more natural and three-dimensional. This step is also very flowy. I just have to look at the darker parts of the motif and draw them loosely in. There are parts of the pictures where I don't quite understand what's going on there, but that's okay because I can make a hint with just a few strokes and the brain will fill them in while looking at it. So you don't have to draw every small detail. I like to finish a sketch with a few hatching lines here and there to enhance the textures and make it look more alive. Since it's been windy up there, I've decided to make the watercolor part when I get back down so I can take my time with that. My next sketching object was this train-like thing. I'm not quite sure how it's called, but it looked cool and interesting. I took a seat on the nearest bench and started sketching, and I quickly realized that I didn't pick the right perspective for that sketch. I had such trouble to make a composition that worked since the tree blocked everything interesting in the front. So I tried to save it by using the brush pen for shadows, but I also overused it. There's now too much going on that picture. At this point I was like, let's just give up and try a different one, but then I thought that it is also important to finish each sketch, even if it's one that I don't like, because you have to think through this whole fixing process and learn to adjust out of your comfort zone. Bad sketches will happen, we're never completely free of mistakes, and it's a matter of how to deal with them. If I hated everything that went not as intended and only draw things I feel completely comfortable with, I wouldn't improve that much. So I've decided to show you what a page that I don't like looks like to me and how I try to fix it. But first I wanted to color the factory image with watercolors. I just added a few color dots to some areas to make it look more complete. I think it would work just as well with just the fine liners, but I enjoy the watercolor effects the most, which is why I added those. To come back to the train piece, I've decided to make some colorful gradients on the trees and to pick a complementary red on the wagon, and somehow it didn't look that terrible anymore. Like, I still see my mistakes, but with the colors on top it even looks a bit interesting, and I ended up liking this image. The last one for that day was this open side of the first factory where you can see a yellow crane inside. It was all overgrown with trees and grass, and I thought that this is an interesting combination of industrial elements and the nature peeking through. I've decided to go for a symmetrical layout and sketch the first part with fine liners followed by watercolors as in my last sketches. That was my last sketch for that day. I really enjoyed my location this time. It really inspired me. There were just too many things I could have sketched and it felt like a little adventure. So see you guys in my next urban sketching video. Until then, bye!